Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fast Pass, the history podcast in close to 30 minutes or less. As always, I'm Jason.
I'm Trevor.
And I'm Megan.
Today, we will be discussing Mother Teresa, her good works, the faults she had, and just give you all a general rundown on her life. Anyways, let's get into it. Mother Teresa was born under the name of Agnes Gonja Boyajiu in Uskip in the Ottoman Empire, now known as Skopje in North Macedonia. Agnes was born on August 26, 1910. The Ottoman Empire fell in 1922. Just felt like adding that part there for a bit of historical context of why the town name has changed.
Agnes was born to a religious Albanian family. Her parents, Nicola and Drain Boyajiu, had her baptized. Her first communion was at age 5, and she was confirmed in 1916. For those who don't know, being baptized is a symbolic ceremony of, quote, purification, rebirth, and admission to the Catholic Church, end quote. And confirmation is a profession of faith to God and the Church by an already baptized person. Some churches require you to be confirmed to be considered a full member of the faith. And all this happened by the time she was 6.
Agnes's father died when she was 8. At this time, her mother and the church helped to instill the belief of helping those who were less fortunate. At the age of 12, she, quote, felt a calling to become a nun and devote her life to God, end quote. At 18, she left home and joined the Sisters of Loreto, an Irish order that did mission work in India. She learned English in Dublin before eventually traveling to Kolkata in late 1928. She took her first vows as a nun in 1931, earning her the new name of Sister Mary Teresa, named after Saint Therese of Lisieux.
So nuns had to make 3 vows in order to show their dedication to God and the church, but they had to profess these vows before God and the church, like in public. So these vows are poverty, chastity, and obedience. Poverty saying that you will renounce owning things and rely solely on God and the church to provide for you. Chastity saying that you are now going to remain celibate and give your heart to God and the church instead of giving your heart to a significant other. Obedience so that you will be subservient to the guidance of religious superiors and the community rather than making your own decisions.
Now that that's out of the way, let's get back to Sister Teresa, who became Mother Teresa after finishing her profession of vows in 1937. Yeah, it takes years professing these vows before it's finally accepted that these are in fact lifelong vows. The entire time from 1931 to 1944, she was teaching at St. Mary's School for Girls in India. In 1944, she became the principal of the school. She taught geography, history, and catechism, aka Catholic doctrine. During her time at school, she also learned Bengali and Hindi.
During her time teaching, a famine hit the region, killing hundreds of thousands within the province of Bengal, and Mother Teresa said she felt a, quote, call within a call. This call led her to ask her superiors to let her leave the school and start working in the slums. In 1948, she was granted permission to do so. In 1950, the Holy See gave her permission to found her own order, the Missionaries of Charity. Their goal was to help the poor whilst living amongst them. She is quoted by saying, quote, live simply so others may simply live, end quote.
In 1952, they opened the first, quote, home for the dying in Kolkata, where they took the homeless, sick, and dying and those unwanted by the hospitals or their own families, quote, to be given a chance to recover or to die with dignity, loved and cared for by the sisters, end quote. Today in India, there are 180 such homes. Her Missionaries of Charity began to grow from 12 people into the thousands.
In 1962, she received the Padma Shri, which is the 4th highest civilian award given by the government of India. Quote, the award seeks to recognize achievements in all fields of activities or disciplines where an element of public service is involved, end quote. During the same year, she also won the Ramon Magsaysay Award for International Understanding. The Ramon Magsaysay Award, Asia's premier prize and highest honor, recognizes greatness of spirit shown in selfless service to the people of Asia.
In 1965, she opened her first home for the dying in Venezuela with the Pope's permission. Her mission began to expand out to Rome, Tanzania, and eventually all around the globe. This includes communist countries like the Soviet Union and Cuba during the continued expansions in the 1980s and 90s.
She won the Jawaharlal Nehru Award for International Understanding in 1969. She founded her first American-based charity in 1971. During that year, she also won the Pope John XXIII's Peace Prize Award from Paul IV. She was granted the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979. the Bharat Ratna, the highest civilian award given by the Indian government, in 1980.
She traveled to Lebanon to secretly help Christians and Muslim children during the siege of Beirut in 1982, when Israel bombed Beirut after a Lebanese assassin tried to kill an Israeli ambassador in London. The siege might have to be an episode for a later day.
She was awarded the Order of Merit from Great Britain in 1983, spoke at the 40th anniversary of the UN General Assembly in 1985, founded the Gift of Love Home for people suffering from HIV and AIDS in New York City in 1985 as well, received an honorary doctorate in social science from the University of Scranton in 1987, received honorary U.S. citizenship in 1996.
For years, Mother Teresa was fighting back poor health after her first heart attack in 1983 and her subsequent heart attack in 1989. She ended up passing at the age of 87 in Kolkata, India, on September 5th, 1997. She was canonized as a saint in 2016.
Now we've talked about all of her good works, we need to discuss the criticism that surrounded her. First, we need to talk about her viewpoints on certain topics, because those are things that can be more easily forgiven in some people's eyes. Quote, she held a hardline conservative views against divorce, contraception, and abortion, as well as highly traditional views about the role of women in society, end quote. During her Nobel Prize speech, she called abortion the, quote, greatest destroyer of peace, end quote.
While she took flack for some by being too conservative in her views, she also took flack from the religious community as well. While speaking with a Catholic priest, she is quoted saying, quote, yes, I convert. I convert you to be a better Hindu, or a better Muslim, or a better Protestant, or a better Catholic, or a better Parsi, or a better Sikh, or a better Buddhist. And after you have found God, it is for you to do what God wants you to do, end quote.
But her beliefs aren't the only thing that grabbed people's attention and ire. While Mother Teresa helped the poor, her ministry also received millions in donations. The biggest problem with these donations is that most of the money went unaccounted for. There was little to no transparency as to how the money was spent. Now, most charities like the Red Cross and Oxfam, who operate internationally, are liable for all of their donations. One critic, Emily Gonzalez, who volunteered in 2008, is quoted saying, quote, why is this organization not being held to the same standard? They get a free pass because of religion. They get a free pass because of the influence of the Vatican, end quote. More issues arose regarding the homes that the charity ran, only offering basic level care. This means there was no painkillers, there was weak hygiene, and lax standards for sanitation.
Emily Gonzalez also, quote, claims he saw nuns routinely reuse needles after washing them in tap water, that clothes, sometimes soiled with urine and feces, and cooking utensils were hand-washed side by side in the same room. Patients suffering from respiratory disease had to bathe in freezing water because a single water heater was barely enough for one bath, he says. And he claims that there was not a single doctor or medically trained nurse at the hospice. We do have to keep in mind, though, that this was in 2008, which was 11 years after Mother Teresa passed away.
The last thing I feel we need to talk about is her, quote, secret conversions. A former missionary of charity member wrote, quote, sisters were to ask each person in danger of death if they wanted a ticket to heaven. An affirmative reply was to mean consent to baptism. The sister was then to pretend that she was just cooling off the patient's head with a wet cloth, while she was in fact baptizing him, quietly saying the necessary words. Secrecy was important so it would not come to be known that Mother Teresa's sisters were baptizing Hindus and Muslims.
But the rest is history. So there's a lot to go over in regards to her life and whether or not she knew about a lot of this stuff. But we're going to leave it up to you to form your own opinion. Definitely check out the sources for this episode to help with forming your opinion. It'll definitely give you a new point of view that we weren't able to put into this episode. If you want our opinions, check out the After the Pod. We'll be discussing our thoughts on whether or not we believe she should have been canonized and some other such stuff. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.